About the courtroom outburst by a Seminole County judge. Take a listen.
I am dismissing this charge.
Circuit Judge Frederick Schott berated a prosecutor after the judge decided to throw out a jury's guilty verdict in a DUI case. Channel 9's Kathy Belich is live in Seminole County. And Kathy, you questioned the public defender's office today about the judge's reaction. What happened?
Where the public defender's office here believes the judge was really angry over what it calls questionable testimony from the officer that no one from the sheriff's office was available to do the breath test in the DUI case. The accused driver told us today she didn't know what was going on. Lisette Gonzalez insists she's innocent, is grateful to the judge, but says the whole thing was upsetting.
At the moment, I don't know what was going on. All I know, I was crying.
The officer said he didn't ask her to do a breathalyzer test because no one from the sheriff's office was available to do it. Even so, he indicated she had an unlawful blood or breath alcohol level, which automatically suspended her license for 6 months.
But you did not know what her blood or breath alcohol was at all, did you?
That's correct.
Were you drunk?
Oh, no. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
The jury found her guilty, but Seminole County Judge Fred Schott threw out the verdict and went on a tirade accusing the officer of lying and even of maybe breaking the law.
So take it up on appeal with him lying about it. The case should have never been done. Never. And we'll find out why your license was suspended and if somebody broke the law to cause your license to be suspended.
The PD's office says the sheriff's office refuted the officer's claim about the breath test.
The evidence showed there are breath test operators always available to give a breath test, and that this officer said that there is not, which is not true.
But Sanford police say body cam video shows the officer asking for an operator and being told it would be 3 hours. The state is appealing. A hearing is set here for May, but the PD's office says it's going to file a motion to argue that the case is over. Reporting live at the Seminole County Courthouse in Sanford, Kathy Belich, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Comprehensive roadside safety checkpoint
I
tonight.
understand what it is.
I've got a copy of the operations plan. The sidewalk is going to be closed.
Enclosed public area.
No, sir, it's part of the roadway.
Well, in a sense it is.
The sidewalk is part of the roadway. We're not going to debate semantics, okay? But I have in the operations plan, I have designated an area for observers, okay? And they're going to set that up so that if you want to observe the checkpoint, you can do it from the area that we've designated.
I don't know if you can really do that. You can say you're not going to debate it, but I've been to a number of checkpoints, and the sidewalks are open for one reason. They're public access way for people coming through, walking through. You can't put people through your zone because you're going to cordon it off, and you can't put people on the road because there's traffic out there. This is a public access way, which I am standing in. So I'm on public property, whether you want to say it's part of the road or not.
Well, Wally, what I am telling you is that the sidewalk is part of the roadway. That's Florida law. I've been to the academy. I know that the sidewalk is part of the roadway. For the comprehensive roadside safety check.
Yes, it's part of the
It's part of the roadway. Roadway. The roadway encompasses the road.
Corporal Sullivan, you said you went to the academy, correct?
I did.
You're trained in traffic matters, correct?
Yes.
Okay, you're trained in, and you're also trained that the definitions of a sidewalk and the roadway are different, correct?
I believe one encompasses the other.
Okay.
But I think it's a roadway.
You think?
Pretty certain.
Pretty certain? Okay.
I'm not an expert in any field.
Obviously.
Now, when Mr. Sullivan approached you, you said that you created a diagram or a observation area for him to be in, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You stated that that diagram was for all observers for that area that wanted to come and view the checkpoint, correct?
Yes.
Was that observation area ever marked as an observation area so other observers can go and view the checkpoint from that area?
Not physically marked.
The Taser inquiry has picked up where it left off in Vancouver, grilling the fourth and final officer about his role at the airport when Robert Jacansky died. As the CBC's Terry Milewski reports, that individual was the senior commanding officer who called the order to pull the Taser trigger.
Corporal Monty Robinson was the man who gave the fateful order to hit him again the night that Robert Jacansky died. Robinson was in command of the four Mounties, and he ordered a second hit, he says, because the first one did not work.
It didn't have an instantaneous effect. and Mr. Jacansky still had the stapler in his hand, and he had not gone down.
The problem is Jacansky did go down. The first shot lasted 5 or 6 seconds, and in that time, Jacansky screams, staggers, drops the stapler, and falls down. Just 1 second later, he is stunned again, but it was still not over. Corporal Robinson stared at the video monitor as it showed that even as Jacansky lay screaming on the floor, there was yet a third call for the taser.
Stop. Did you hear those words? Hit him again, hit him again?
Yes, I did.
Is that you, sir?
I don't rule it out, it's me.
If you gave that instruction, he's clearly on the ground.
Yes.
And there's 3 police on or about him, Mr. Jacansky?
Yes.
Like the other officers, Robinson admitted there were errors in his prior statements, in which he claimed that Jacansky tried to hit the police and that they had to wrestle him to the ground when the taser didn't work.
Just because I was mistaken doesn't mean I was lying. I did the best job I could at the time.
But none of this was any comfort to Robert Jacansky's mother.
They tasered him 5 times, and my heart is so broken for that.
The testimony is taking its toll, too, on the RCMP as an institution.
We're certainly sensitive to the fact that public trust is at a level that we would rather not see it at.
The RCMP spokesman would not comment, though, on his boss's remarks of yesterday. Visiting Afghanistan, RCMP Commissioner William Elliott said the public should not judge the officers on the frame-by-frame showing of the videotape. So far, though, all 4 officers have been forced to agree that it's the video, not their own statements, that tells the truth. Tori Milewski, CBC News, Vancouver.
Jacansky's death has prompted all kinds of questions about the effects of repeated tasering. And coming up this week, the CBC's Frederic Zelak will bring you new research on whether multiple taser shocks actually increase the risk of death.
There was a case in New York where a police officer was caught planting drugs into a black man's vehicle while the black man was handcuffed.
How did he get caught, Anna?
He got caught with his own dash cam. Wow. So I love this. A local newspaper found this surveillance. They just posted it up on YouTube, and now it's obviously going viral. We want to show the video to you guys as well, so let's watch it. So the cop is on the right-hand side of the vehicle, or in the passenger side. And you can see him shuffling around a little bit.
How does the moron not know that there's a camera on his dashboard? Or I guess he forgot. You know what's interesting about this? Is that it's probably so commonplace, at least for him, that he probably didn't even think twice about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Remember, we did a story about New York before where police officers would literally walk into bars and plant drugs into people's coats. Mm-hmm. So they would put drugs into, they'd find whatever, some minority, doesn't matter. They would put drugs into his coat, and then they'd be like, they would do like one of those stop and frisks, and then they would be like, oh, what is this bag of cocaine doing in your coat?
And they would have to say it just like that. What is this bag of cocaine doing in your coat? And it could be any minority, they usually go for blacks or Latinos, but we got an Asian, does that count? I gotta go for it.
Yeah.
Just like you guys were going to do that segment, or at least the mention you guys do every once in a while of tax the rich. Every time something like this comes up, I'm just going to say, if I were a black kid, that's all. These are the things that happen to black folks that he didn't go through in that whole thing. If I were a black kid in America, that's all.
Yeah, that's the JR's referring to that op-ed in Forbes where some middle-aged white guy writes
if I were a poor black kid.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? I just work harder. And then when they planted the drugs in my car, I would have hoped that I worked so hard that I was already rich and had a good lawyer. Right? So it's not just that simple, which is what JR points out.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up. That's a perfect point for this story.
Right. No, look, I'm actually really heartened by this story because apparently there's someone in America who still cares to bust that guy. Right? I mean, normally that kind of stuff gets swept under the rug. Like, wow, they cared? They busted the cop? Fantastic. Do you believe in miracles?
I'm guessing it happened after. I don't know what happened. I'm guessing, so I'm probably wrong. But maybe the video came out and they went, oh, what are we going to do? Guess we got to get him.
It has to be something like that.
So you think that, the police, police enforcement weren't going to do anything about it until the video was released and then finally they're like, yeah.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised
When's the last time cops turned on each other and was like, oh, we've got some secret evidence against one of our own. Yeah, let's make a big public case out of that. Yeah, the only time the cops have turned on one another is when Bill O'Reilly paid them to. Okay, when they investigated their own cop for having sex with O'Reilly.
I mean, think about it. This police officer, I don't know where he's keeping it, but he's patrolling, working, on duty with drugs on him. He has drugs on him. Where does he get them from? Who knows about it? I don't know what kind of sequence you go through to go out into the field, but you have drugs on you. Somebody knows.